What is up, everybody? It's the Game Dex here, your coach of the Golden State Weezings. Welcome to the PPL season VGC. With how champions worked, there had to be some slight changes made. Singles draft league didn't work as well, so we're doing some VGC draft league action. Something I've wanted to do for a while, but has always been... I've always been a little bit scared to get into it, and here is our opportunity. I love VGC. I love Draft League. Let's combine the two, and let's get started in our draft analysis for this season. Starting us off with the very first pick for us. We were pick number 6, so we were kind of in the middle of the draft. There's a lot of good stuff that went off the board pretty early. Mega Floette. I kind of wanted Mega Delphox, but that was gone. Whimsicott, obviously one of the best VGC mons. Mega Meganium was something I was interested in trying out. Gone. So, by the time I got to my pick, there really wasn't any Mega Evolution that I was like, I definitely want to try. I drafted Mega Charizard in the NBBCL, so I didn't feel like doing Mega Charizard, so I was like, I need a Pokemon that is completely good at whatever I end up drafting. Whatever Mega Evolution I draft, I want this Pokemon to be super top tier with it, and there was really one Pokemon that came to my mind once we got to this point, and that Pokemon was Garchomp. Garchomp, super strong mon, decent speed, a lot of good things to like about Garchomp, and like, it's a dragon, it's a ground type. I can Earthquake spam if I get a Flyer or some Levitate mons. Overall, felt like a really good Pokemon. Kind of what I want to build my team around, and have the Mega option be super strong. But the team probably relies more on Garchomp instead. So, really like my pick. Like I said, we're pick 6, so we're going to have to wait a little bit before it becomes our turn. But I think in our pick 2, I want to pick our Mega Evolution. And I don't want our Mega Evolution to be weak, so we definitely do need to pick our Mega Evolution in the next pick. And when it came back around to us, we did lose on my number 1 pick. I did want Mega Kangaskhan. Got picked a couple picks before me, so I went with the next best option. Something very similar, fake out user, super strong, normal type, really good ability. Gonna spoil it, it's scrappy. I went with Mega Lopunny. Super fast mon, super strong mon. This mon is kind of insane. With scrappy, I can be hitting the ghost type Pokemon with our normal moves, with our stab fighting moves. Overall, really love it, really happy to use it. It was one of the first Pokemons I've ever drafted before. Years and years ago, when I was inexperienced and drafting on, like, fan apps just to have, like, a chance to do something, Mega Lopunny was my first ever pick, and that mon worked great for me for one battle until the league reset because they were upset that I got Mega Lopunny and I won my first battle. True story. True story. All right. Let's wait a few more picks before it is our pick again. We got a Dragon type. We got 2 physical attackers. VGC is also, like, you gotta build mons for their roles, less alone what necessarily their stats are. And there is a massive role in VGC, and that is redirection. Redirection is really good. It lets your super strong mons be able to do whatever they want, at least for an extra turn that they shouldn't have. It blocks Sucker Punch. It's really, really good. I got a strong redirectioner, a mon that ignores stat boost. I got Clefable. Fairy type also to pair well with Garchomp. Add that little, like, Dragon Fairy Steel core that a lot of things do, which I just realized I don't have a Steel type. Spoiler alert, I don't have a Steel type, but we do have a Fairy type. We do have a redirectioner, which really is good with Garchomp. Being able to follow me and pull the Dragon Claws away from Garchomp allows Garchomp to be strong and take on other dragons without having to worry about being weak to it. Honestly, feels really good. I like it. Clefable, redirection, strong special attack, like I said. I'm excited to use it. Our 4th mon. Like I said a little bit earlier, Garchomp is really good for Earthquake spam. Fire off an Earthquake, fire off an Earthquake, fire off an Earthquake. Like, as brain dead as it gets, but, like, honestly still super strong. You put a Choice Scarf on it, spam Earthquake. I need a Pokemon that can actually allow me to do that. And I ended up picking Rotom Heat. Levitate makes it really good. A electric type that is immune to ground, a fire type that is immune to ground. Fire types are really strong offensively. Like, if you don't have a fire type, like, what are you doing? You need it for steel types, honestly. Steel types that threaten Clefable. Ice types that threaten Garchomp. You got a fire type. Rotom Heat is amazing. It is a little unfortunate that it only gets Overheat as its fire stab, but, like, at the end of the day, if you click an Overheat, you knock out the threat. Does it really matter? Just saying, I'm just saying. And then it kind of, like, rounds us out. We're a little balanced. We got physical attackers, we got special attackers, we got some pivot action with Volt Switch. Yes, pivoting isn't as vital in VGC, but it is something still to keep in mind. Now let's move on to our 5th pick of the draft. In this draft, we were allowed to draft up to 2 Mega Evolutions, but there was no budget on Mega Evolutions. So I wasn't locked to only spending 20 points on any Mega Evolution. I could spend as much as I want, but I could only have 2 Mega Evolutions. So I wanted a pretty strong and solid second option for Mega Evolution, because, you know, maybe there's certain fights that Mega Lopunny doesn't look so great, and I want to try a different Mega. But at the same time, this is my second Mega, so I want a Pokemon that can hold the Mega Stone, but still provide value without it Mega Evolving and without it having an item. And in my opinion, one of the best Pokemon to be able to do that is Gyarados. Now, not as strong of a Mega Evolution as, like, Mega Lopunny, Mega Kangaskhan, like all the top mons, but still really, really good. Super strong attack. It gets a lot bulkier. You intimidate the turn before you Mega Evolve, because, like, that's regular Gyarados' ability. It really sets it up in a good position. I can either Dragon Dance Sweep with it. I can either go more supportive with it. Thunder Wave, Waterfall, Flinch. Like, there's a lot you can do with Gyarados. There's a lot of utility that you can do with Gyarados, but at the same time, it's a threat that you cannot take lightly. And the Dark type, instead of flying, makes it not as weak to electric attacks, so something I really like. But if I don't Mega Evolve it, I can still Earthquake spam. Just spam away Earthquakes with Gyarados, just Thunder Wave, Waterfall. Sounds disgusting. Sounds absolutely disgusting. All right, now on to our 6th pick of the draft. There's only a couple mons that can fill this role, and it's a honestly really, really solid role. Very, very recently, the Pokemon Company introduced abilities that blocked priority. And obviously the strongest one was already gone. Farigiraf got took rounds and rounds ago, so no Farigiraf. But there is a really good one that also completes my Fire, Water, Grass core. And that Pokemon happens to be Serena. Super interesting mon. Super interesting mon. Like I said, Queenly Majesty is her ability, so it really prevents my opponents from going for priority that might hurt Garchomp, like Ice Shard. Fake Out is massive in VGC. If my opponent doesn't have the ability to Fake Out and I can freely attack, bam. I have Serena in the back, they try to Fake Out, bam. There's so many good things with Serena. It stops Prankster, like, from attacking my side of the field. Obviously, they can still Prankster Tailwind, but they cannot Prankster Encore. It's such a cool mon. It's such a utility mon. It was only 8 points as well, and I feel like it's got a lot of value for 8 points. So I'm really excited to use Serena. I think it pairs well with a lot of the members of our team. If Thunderclap was still a move, Gyarados would be best friends with Serena. Fortunately, unfortunately, however you feel, there is no Thunderclap in this game yet. No Raging Bolt, and Raging Bolt's the only mon that can learn it. But maybe that'll change. Next up, with our 7th pick of the draft, I am lacking a little bit of speed control. I'm sure we have some in Electro Web, maybe Mega Gyarados gets Icy Wind, but I don't have Tailwind. And Tailwind can be massive. If your opponent gets Tailwind up and you're constantly fighting the rest of the battle behind, you're very much so in a losing position. And a lot of the good Tailwinders already got picked. Obviously, Whimsicott, Pelipper. Someone was building a rain team, so obviously Pelipper. One that I really want got picked round 4, Noivern. So unfortunately, I couldn't get some of the best Tailwind users. Dragonite, I'm pretty sure is another option. Obviously, I don't have it. So I went with one that I feel like could provide good value. It was cheap. I honestly thought it probably was going to go soon after my pick, so I was very worried about it getting back to me. And it also has a really solid ability. I went with Vivian, strong Tailwind setter. It's kind of frail, so I gotta probably use a Focus Sash or really use my Clefable with Redirection, Mega Lopunny with Fake Out to be able to get the Tailwinds off, but there is still an ability to get Tailwind off. And the other thing Vivian does really well is its ability, Friend Guard. Really reducing the damage the rest of the team takes as long as it's on the field. Sounds really good with some of these bulkier mons like Mega Gyarados, where I have the ability to set up. Maybe Clefable I could set up, or even Clefable taking more hits with Follow Me, and then Vivian firing off like Hurricane, Tailwind. Vivian also gets Rage Powder, which, like I said, redirection is pretty huge for our team. Obviously, it might faint after it gets Rage Powder, but still, it allows something to fire off big damage. And VGC is super fast-paced, super short, pretty good mod. I like it for 9 points. Now, on to our next point. We have 15 points left. There was a Pokemon that I really wanted as a one-pointer that I was going to draft next, but it did end up getting picked. I want to say, where is it? Do I not see it? Is it? Did someone drop it? No, someone did not drop it. There it is. It got picked the same round, or no, the same round as this pick. On its way back to me, it got picked. I wanted to pick up Bastiodon. That's the steel type I wanted. I wanted to have Wide Guard. Unfortunately, it did not make it back to me, so I kind of just had to pivot. I have 15 points. There were 2 one-pointers that I was looking at, and then the other 13 points, I was like, I can genuinely spend this on whatever. So I picked up Gardevoir, another fairy type. Obviously, there's no such thing as too many fairy types, especially with a ground type and a fire type to be able to scare off those steel types. Gardevoir is really nice. The other great thing about Gardevoir, decent speed, decent attack, is it can get a couple good abilities. Trace is one good ability because then I can read my opponent's ability, and knowing what my opponent is using is massive in a closed team sheet format, especially when it's best of 3. Getting information early is really nice. The other great ability that Gardevoir does get is Telepathy, which allows it to not take damage from allies, which allows me to freely Earthquake with Mega Gyarados and Garchomp without Gardevoir taking any damage, and that's, in my opinion, super solid. Can't hate it. I think it would work out amazingly. Plus, having a fairy and a dragon on the field at the same time kind of scares off a lot. Next up was my Bastiodon replacement. It's not as good. It doesn't have the defensive stats as amazing and spread out as Bastiodon, but is a defensive wall, does get Wide Guard. I ended up picking up Avalugg. Not my top choice. Ice type. It is super slow, which is fine for a Wide Guard user, is fine for a defensive user. It gets Iron Defense Body Press. I'm just going to fire off big damage that way. Just got to be a little careful with it. We only have one Mon that gets Trick Room and Gardevoir, so it's not going to be the easiest thing to set up, but if we can get a Trick Room set up, or if my opponent sets up a Trick Room, we can have Avalugg ready to just do big damage with Body Press, Avalanche, something like that. Wide Guard to block moves like Heat Wave and Eruption, you know? Rock Slide. Rock Slide's massive in VGC. Earthquake's massive in VGC. Wide Guard protects my own self. Like, if Garchomp and Avalugg on the field, Wide Guard protects my Avalugg from getting hit by Earthquake. So, I like it. I like it a lot. And then, on our last pick, we had 1 point. There really wasn't any one-pointer that, like, stood out to me. I had a couple options. So, I just kind of went with the ability here. And I wanted, I don't want, but having an electric type that might not be as weak to rock seemed like a potentially good idea. I ended up picking up Luxray, Intimidate Mon, Guts if we want to do anything funny, but overall, like, Luxray's there to just spend my point and be like, all right, let's get value out of something. I don't know if Luxray ever comes. I'm gonna be honest, I loved Luxray going up as a kid, but, like, having to use Luxray now, it's okay. It's okay. Guts isn't as good because there is no Flame Orb or Toxic Orb yet, so sorry, Luxray. If I use you, great. If I don't use you, I'm sorry. You're stuck on the team. You're stuck on the team. But that is our team of 10 Pokemon. I'm excited for the season, excited to do some VGC Draft League, and really hoping that in a short season, we could pull something crazy off and maybe make the playoffs. I only think a couple teams are going to make it, so it's going to be a tough season. I could probably lose one fight, and that's it. But that's it. That's our team. I will see you later today with Week 1 battle. I'm nervous, but I'm ready. Let's do this. I'll see you then. Until next time, everyone. Peace.